podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome to How Are the Podcast. It's Gav and you join us for another pod as we deep dive into what we can expect from a potential Sunderland signing. It does look as though Sunderland are about to announce at any minute the signing of Noah Sadiki, who plays for Union SG in Belgium. Looks like that one's going to go through as we speak at any minute, as I said, and we don't know much about him. So because we don't know much about him, we thought we'd get somebody on who does, a proper expert. And joining me today, I am glad to have the pleasure of the company of Elijah Michiels, who is a video scout based in Belgium. And he's here to tell us all about Noah Sadiki. Hello, Elijah.
Hello, thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So just a little bit about yourself then. We were just chatting before we came on air. And you did a bit of video scouting work at Malmo in Sweden, so you seem to know quite a lot about European football, I would imagine.
Yes, I love the game. I watch every league in Belgium, first, second, third tier, Scandinavian leagues, mostly European leagues. So yeah, I was very happy also when Sadiki got his move because I was waiting for him. And Sunderland fans, you're getting a great midfielder.
Yeah, well, just to give people a rundown, if they've been living under a rock and have managed to miss the news, Noah Sadiki, he's 20 years old, born in Brussels in Belgium, 5'8" but some conflicting reports on how tall he actually is. A player who is fairly versatile. He can play defensive midfield, fullback, has even played a couple of games at centre-half. His former clubs include a long stint in the academy at Anderlecht. He was given his first team debut at Anderlecht by Vincent Kompany when he was manager there, and then he moved on to Union SG in 2023 and has since gone on to win trophies with them, won the Belgian Jupiler League last season, and has also represented Belgium at under-18s, 19s and under-20s level, and then elected to play for DR Congo, who he represented at under-21s, and then has 9 senior appearances. So this is a young man who has been well sought after, I would imagine, for a long time now. What was your thoughts when you first saw this news break about Sadiki? Because you mentioned there you were waiting for him to get his move. What did you think when you saw that he was getting a big money move to Sunderland?
I was surprised because he was rumored last summer to Lyon and Frankfurt, so they were big European clubs with Champions League, Europa League football. So I thought like maybe this season the clubs will going back, like especially Frankfurt again. But when Sunderland agreed a deal with Sadiki, I was very surprised, but I also think I know what his step is. Like, he want to make himself his name, and in the Premier League you can do that, especially at a young age. And you also see like the people like Lavia and Bilal Al-Kanous going to like a promoting team. If they get relegated there, especially Sunderland can make profit of it again. So it's most likely a win-win situation from both, and I think it is also part of the deal that they agree about it.
Yeah. So somebody who you obviously think a lot about, and you'll have seen the reported fees. Apparently, the agreed fee between Sunderland and Union SG is 17 million euros, with a potential 3 million euros worth of add-ons. Does that seem like a fair price to you? Does that represent good business for both business. Clubs?
I was expecting also a little bit more, but for 17 million is a great deal.
Yeah. And why is that then, do you think? Because that's a lot of money. I don't know, me not knowing a great deal about the Belgian league, I don't know how many players have moved for big money in recent years, but
Bilal Al-Kanous went for 20 plus million. Yashari from Club Brugge is going now for 30 plus to Milan or Dortmund. So 17 million, especially he's still young and he is very mature at his age. Like, he made his debut when he was 16, 17, but he left Anderlecht because he was playing at a right back and he didn't like that, and that's why he went to the rivals in Union, where he really showed his potential on the midfield. But he can play right back, but I prefer him playing more as a midfield.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What's he? We aren't really sure what to expect from him. You mentioned he's played right back. I think I said at the start that he actually played a couple of games as a central defender earlier in his career. But I think it's primarily as a defensive midfield player where he's made his name this season. Would that be right?
Yes, but he also play as a box-to-box midfielder. Like he's a high-intensity box-to-box midfielder, technically strong and counter-pressing, a very aggressive midfielder. Like he likes physical duels. That's why I also think like the Premier League will suit him because of his style. Like he's an aggressive midfielder, love physical battles, ground duels, and also is a good fit for relegation fit. As a hard worker, mentally he's very strong. And like I said, like mature, he's 16, 17, and that gives him also like, if I see his development, his decision making, and also like how mature he is on the field, he's like a very great box to box, high intensity. But I'm thinking he's more like an 8 than a 6 because I think when he's a holding midfielder as a 6 with his height, also he will get bullied a lot in the midfield. So I think he's like more like a runner, helping also like Habib Diarra that you guys signed. He can cover his ground well. He can roam. So yeah.
What's his dribbling ability like? Is he good running with the ball at his feet?
He's very good at running the ball with the field, but he's not technical very good. But he can carry good because also with his body, like he knows how to cover the ball well with his body. So that's also one thing that I also like about him. He has a quick acceleration, but long distance sprint speed is not like very quick.
Right. Okay. So when I'm trying to imagine where he fits into Sunderland's team, it wouldn't necessarily be then as that pivot at the base of the midfield. It would be maybe in a 3-man midfield, doing a lot of the running about and covering the area between box to box. You said before he's very good between both boxes, but is he the type of midfield player that you can kind of put alongside just about anybody and he will complement the way that they play rather than being the one in the midfield who you expect to dictate games?
I think like he's more like a runner and covering, like dictating is also not his quite strong part because like at Union, there was one dictator and he was like covering the ground. He was running everywhere, covering ground. So I don't expect him like to dictate in the build up. He can do that, but it's not his main part. It's not his main strength of it.
Right. Okay. So the Premier League, obviously, as we know, is a very physical league. Clearly, that's something Sunderland have identified, which is why we're looking at the core of the team and that spine of the team, and we're trying to bring in players who are very athletic and energetic. Would you say he fits that mold too?
Yes, definitely. He's also his athleticism is one of his key part, like how good he is. Like I said, he's an aggressive dueler that will fit the Premier League well, and athleticism. He has work rates. He will work hard for that midfield. So that's why it's for me like a great deal. It's a very great deal. Like 70 million again. It's like I was in shock when I saw the fee. It's a very great price for him.
So what you've talked a little bit about there. The type of player that he is. What kind of character is he? Is he? Because Sunderland are a big club, right? And we've got a really expectant fan base. And yeah, we haven't been in the Premier League for a long time now. But our fans, when we spend a lot of money on a player, because it doesn't happen that often. I mean, it's been a long time since we spent lots of money on players. If we spend a lot of money on a player, we're going to be expecting big characters who can hit the ground running. Do you think you'll be able to fit in that regard?
Yes, he's a very humble guy. I know him from interviews, also very humble. He's not sharing a lot of thoughts, but he's a hard worker, humble guy. The one thing that I have some problems is with his father. Sometimes he speaks too much online, especially against his ex-club, Anderlecht. If you know about it, like he talked a lot of rubbish about Anderlecht, how he treated his son. But he didn't say nothing. He's always humble, saying always correct, like social. Very funny guy. It's one type of player in the group. Like he doesn't need adaptability. Like he can fit well. He's very social.
Right. That's interesting, especially the bit about his dad. Because that's something our fans will pick up on immediately. Maybe they just need to tell his dad to delete social media. That might work out a little bit better for him. So you talk about some of the clubs that he's been linked with. You mentioned Milan, Frankfurt, obviously two giants of European football at the minute. What would you say his ceiling is as a player? Because Sunderland a big part of our recruitment strategy is to sign players that we think we can develop and then move on for a profit down the line. And we don't spend, as I said before, we don't spend 20 million euros on players very often. So if we do that, we're doing it because we believe that we can develop him and eventually move him on to the next level that maybe we can't take him to for a lot of money. Do you think his ceiling is above, a team who will be probably battling towards the bottom of the Premier League? Do you think maybe in 3-4 years' time he could be at, elite level, or is he not quite there?
I think he will be there in 3 years. I think like a team like Newcastle, Aston Villa, a team that will fight for top 6, team like that. And I think also that is his goal. Like he knows, like if he show him well in the Premier League, we see very many teams like with one great player, like I said, example like Lavia at Southampton, that directly a move like Chelsea. But I'm not saying like a Chelsea move, but like maybe when Wijnaldum, Newcastle relegated at Liverpool in the time where top 6, I think that's his ceiling. Like maybe an Onana replacement if Onana get a big move in the top 3 in the Premier League, like that, for example.
Right, I've got you. So, a player who can definitely push on and potentially even, go on to play for a European club. And that's interesting because I think these days, midfielders like Sadiki are very valuable or are seen as valuable. I mean, it's become a bit of a buzz phrase, calling them ball carrying midfield players.
Yes.
It sounds like he fits the bill. And that's, I suppose, given his age, given what he brings to a team. If he does well at Sunderland, there are going to be big clubs looking at him down the line.
Definitely. Also, like you said, the description, like that type of profiles is very rare. Also with his age, 20 years old, 2021. Premier League. Definitely people will going to look at him. Scouts will look at him. And also, especially when Sunderland is doing well against big clubs. Like, for example, he did a great performance against United or Chelsea. Definitely, his price tag will rise up. Definitely.
Yeah. Just to go back slightly, because obviously I mentioned at the very top that last season he won honours with his current side, or his soon-to-be former side, Union, and they won the Jupiler League title, which for them, I guess, is a huge achievement. But just how important was his role in that title win? Because, I mean, they're not the traditional big boys of the Belgian leagues. I think that would be fair to say. So for them to win the league must have been seen as a huge achievement. So how important was his role in that?
He was very important with that midfield, with Van Harten, his midfield partner. He played 37 games of the 39 games, so he was very consistent. One thing also that I really like is he's not injury prone. Like he has a good injury record, so that's also a plus point. But Inyo, he was very good. He was everywhere on the field. He was very important midfielder. He was like the heart of the midfield. Like if he doesn't run, you could notice like that something was wrong. Also like midfield battles that he won against like big players. Like for example, he won a matchup against Tolu from the striker of Kent, the 2 meter long physical battles. I was like really in shock. But he was very important at the big parts. Finally, they won the champions in Belgium for so long because they were suffering seconds, thirds for the whole time. So he is one key part of the midfield to thank them.
Do you think they're going to miss him when he leaves?
They're going to miss him, but they have a great replacement already. So they invested already before his departure already. So I think, the thing is that they'll miss his aggressive, high intensity box to box thing on the field, but they know they have to sell. That's the thing. They know they have to sell.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's one of those. There isn't the money floating around in Belgium that there is in England, I guess, in the Premier League. And if you have a valuable asset and, they're at the peak of their value in terms of how long you've had. I mean, what was it, 2 years ago he signed for them? And it wasn't for very much, was it? I think I saw something not too long ago about a bid from Burnley, maybe, which was it was when Vincent Kompany was manager of Burnley, and they it was turned down, but it was only around €1 million. And, to see him go for what, up to €20 million, I guess it's just too good for his club to turn down.
Yeah, he went to almost to Berlin with company, but he didn't want it. He wanted to stay in Belgium, and yeah, Union was playing a Europa League and Champions League, so that's why he also stayed. It's also from Brussels, so Union is located in Brussels, so he could stay also easily. Noah was his rivals. Anderlecht fans didn't like it. They were very angry about it, but like you said, he was playing out of position all the time. He was playing also with the B team in the second division, while he was also playing right back. So that's why he also left. And I think that was a very perfect move also for 1.4 million. So it's
Yeah.
very sad for Anderlecht fans, but yeah, I'm very happy with the move. Very happy.
What you've just you just mentioned there about him playing right back, and I think because Sunderland fans don't know much about him, they may be reading up on him, maybe checking Wikipedia and Transfer Market and all these other websites which are easily easily attainable. And you know they are noting that he can play right back and he's played games at centre half. But is it you know? Do you think we're signing a versatile player? You know, would you expect him to play games at right back in the Premier League, or is it more of a case of no, you know, he's actually established himself as a midfield player, and it's very unlikely that you'll see him in a defensive role?
I think he'll be more midfielder because at right back he can not cross and also against fast, tricky wingers he was very exposed also. So I think it's more like a midfield. I think I hope I will never see him at right back because he was very suffering to watch also. Like in the U days, he was playing midfield and I really and then he was dropped at the B team at the right back while he was suffering. So I hope I will never see him at the right back.
Yeah. I would imagine that if he ever plays there for Sunderland, it would just be, you know, in an emergency or maybe during a game if we need somebody to cover there. But yeah, I was just interested about that because he's been kind of marketed to us as a versatile player, but the more I speak to you, it becomes apparent he's very much a midfielder, and that's, you know, where we need to get used to the idea of him playing. And it's just interesting because Sunderland actually have quite a lot of midfield players, and it's where he fits in. I don't know how much you know about Sunderland and in our squad, but you know, do you think, given his age and given, you know, the fact it's a big move for him, you know, you mentioned before he's from Brussels, right? And you know, has likely lived there his whole life, and it's a big thing for a 20-year-old to move to a completely different country, to the Premier League, which is a really intense, fast-paced league, to do all of that and then be expected to play at the peak of your powers as a footballer. It's a big thing for a young person, not just a young footballer, but a young person to make that move, isn't it? So do you think he'll be coming to Sunderland to immediately hit the ground running and play and go straight into the team, or do you suspect that they'll give him a little bit of time and he might not, you know, he might be eased in rather than thrown straight in?
I think he will get a time of running. It's very hard for him. He's also still young, new area, you have to adapt also, but it will not be hard for him to adapt because also like at Congo, when he was in international stages, like there adapting is also very hard, and he did a quick running already. But I think he will not start off running the ground already, like expecting already big performances. But I think time will tell. But I will say I don't have to wait long. I think I don't have to wait.
Yeah. It sounds as though, because, you know, he's as you've said, he's a determined footballer, somebody who works very hard. I mean, you know, if you work hard, you've got half a chance, haven't you? You're already in a good place if you can work really hard and give benefit to the team that way, and then the other bit should hopefully fall in place if you put all the effort in on the pitch.
Yes, and that's why also I think with this description of the player, I think what Sunderland also need, like a hard-working midfielder, like also in relegation fights, he fits perfectly. That's why I also think that he's the one that also signed, also due his age and profit-wise, is a perfect match for him.
Right. You talk a lot about his strengths as a player, but what about weaknesses? What would you say, if you could pinpoint, I don't know, 3 main areas of weakness in his game that he really needs to improve to make the next step up as a footballer? What would you say they were?
Yeah, unfortunately, his height against, aerial battles that's one of his weak points. I think also his against like fast players, like in long distance sprint speeds, is also one of his things. Like he has a quick acceleration, but in long distance, he's very poor. And also one thing, also like his final third, like in the box, like his finishing, everything, like his attacking areas. Like maybe when he's moving in the box crashing, like his finishing is very poor, like his final third also. So that's one of the three things that I wish. The last thing that I say, like his attacking areas, like his box crashing, like maybe when he's playing box to box and he goes very attacking, like that's one thing that I really miss, like his final third, his finishing.
Yeah. You can sort of see that from his record as a player. Hasn't scored a great amount of goals in his career, and maybe that's something he can improve on later in his career. But if he's just coming into the team to be a runner and a hard worker, maybe there won't be much expectation on him to get goals, particularly in the Premier League, which is a difficult league to score in anyways. Just sort of lastly, I guess, for anybody who isn't particularly sure about this signing, if there's any Sunderland fans listening who have listened to what you've had to say and maybe done their own research and they're a bit like, I don't know about this one. What would you say to them? What would you say to them to try and reassure them that this is a good move?
I would say, be patient with him. Be patient and he will deliver. He'll be a fan favorite, like every tackle, every interception. He'll work hard every time. Every game he'll work hard. And definitely one thing also, like, is a fighter. Especially if you are in relegation fights, you see like his mentality, he'll fight for every ball.
Yeah, well, I think that's all Sunderland fans ever want to see from our players, is for them to give their all, to work hard, show some passion on the pitch,
that's why,
show leadership.
That's why
when we're in tough moments.
That's why he was also like a fan favorite at Union. Like he fighted for the badge. Like he was really a hard worker. But one thing also I want to add, like I'm also scared about his aggressive. Like in the Premier League, you get easy yellow cards, everything. That's also one thing I'm very scared. Like his interception and tackles and everything, that he will easily get yellow cards.
Is it this might just be me being ignorant, but is the VAR in the Belgian league?
Yeah, there's a VAR. Yes, but
so how has he coped with that?
He's like quiet. He doesn't argue everything like that. But yellow cards, he can get some stupid yellow cards like interceptions or aggressive.
Right. Well, I suppose that comes with being young and excitable as a footballer. So maybe that's something he can work on. But I would like I'm pretty excited about this signing. I think the most important thing is that he works hard. And if you work hard, you're going to do half decent for Sunderland. If you can add real ability and talent on top of that, then you're going to blow us away. And I think he sounds like a really promising signing for Sunderland. And I think majority of Sunderland fans, 99.9% of us, are just excited to see what he can actually do. Now we're going to get to see him in action at some point over pre-season, and hopefully he becomes a real star with Sunderland. And maybe in 2 or 3 or 4 years' time, we might catch up again, Elijah, and we might be talking about the next big thing in football, and the fact that me and you had this conversation when he was just starting out in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so
it would be nice.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope. I'll definitely be watching Sunderland games because of him also. The Stadium of Light will definitely be one thing that I really want to see also in real life, to see Sadiki. So yeah, hopefully
brilliant.
He'll be enjoyable for you guys, but I have very love for him. I think he will do well.
Great. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really, really appreciate your time and your insight. And I'm sure people will be more excited about this signing than they were before they listened, having heard what you've had to say about a player you clearly think a lot about. So thank you very much, Elijah. It's been great.
Thank you for the invite. It's a really pleasure. Thank you very much.
No problem. And thank you to the listeners for joining us. We will be back with another podcast tomorrow, so make sure you catch up with that. We are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, you name it. You can find Rotor Report and Howie the podcast. Make sure you get subscribed if this is the first time you've heard us. And we will see you on the next one. We'll catch you later.
part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.